This is perfect as the Grizzlies are embarking on their next journey with their new faces. One NBA writer thinking that this could be the perfect move for the Memphis Grizzlies. Maybe not immediately, but the best asset for Memphis has been identified by one NBA writer. What's going on, everybody? Jaren here. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Grizzlies Digest. Thank you so much again. And for those of you who are tuning in and subscribing to the channel, we appreciate you. Support does not go unnoticed, but for the 67% of you, have to hit that subscribe button. Less than 2 months away from the NBA regular season. You don't want to miss any upload from anyone here at Grizzlies Digest. So diving into the content immediately, trade packages and landing spots for every NBA team's best asset. Obviously, this is a Grizzlies channel. We're not going to look at every NBA team because if we did, you'd probably shut down the video right now. And I don't want you to do that because this is not going to happen immediately. I think that we need to explore the KCP project before we actually get into it. But Zach Buckley of the NBA, and this is also on Bleacher Report too. I'll also give some 2 cents on what some sources told Dallas Hoops Journal. But for now, Zach Buckley has this. Memphis Grizzlies receiving RJ Barrett and Ja'Kobe Walter. Toronto Raptors getting KCP, Brendan Clark, a 2026 first round pick, top 10 protected, top 10 would be protected, and a 2030 first round pick from Orlando, and that was a part of the Desmond Bane trade. So this is already talking about how the Grizzlies are going to use those first round pick assets to try and get someone like RJ Barrett. And personally for me, I want you to go in the comment section, grade this trade what you'd like. I would personally grade it a B-, but let's read more into it. Memphis might need some time to monitor its roster after brokering the Desmond Bane blockbuster this offseason. Maybe it will reveal that Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. will still compromise one of the league's best duos and also could really use a wing score with Bane's production removed from the equation. Barrett is a different player than Bane, but their numbers are strikingly similar. This past season, Barrett averaged 21.1 points and 5.4 assists, while Bane checked in at 19.2 and 5.3 respectively. Barrett's shooting and off-ball value aren't the same, but maybe Memphis would appreciate his downhill pressure and ability to get to the foul line. Ja'Kobe Walter, included to offset some of the long-term costs of the 2 draft picks, looks like a 3-and-D swingman who could shine with his movement shooting. So diving into a little bit of both guys. RJ Barrett, 25 years old. Ja'Kobe Walter, a bit younger than him. He just finished his first NBA season. I look at RJ Barrett and think of a guy who's gotten better each year. Excuse me, my hair is really bad today. He's gotten better each year. And I think he's a guy who's very fearless, driving the basketball, getting to the lane. And I think he does a tremendous job. And here's some highlights against the Grizzlies. Not afraid to dish it off into traffic on the fast break. As you see there, nice feed right there to Jakob Poeltl. The only thing I'd be concerned about for this mock trade would be the fact that you've got a lot of great wing depth and even small forward depth. So you add RJ Barrett to Jalen Wells in that equation. That would move Jalen Wells likely to the bench as probably your 6th man. Unless you want to put Santi as your 7th guy. But your big guy depth starts to get a little bit shaky. So Brendan Clark, who's kind of here at this point, I don't want to say very voluntarily, but I also want to say that he's here for a pretty good price. And he's been loyal to the Memphis Grizzlies, and he wants to do the dirty work. He knows his role to the point where you just don't get guys like that. And to answer your question, yes, John Konchar is still a Memphis Grizzly today. So when you think about these pieces, you think, okay, some other fan bases, they might laugh and say, what are these guys do? What are John Konchar doing? What's John Konchar doing playing basketball? What's Brendan Clark doing playing basketball? I mean, you don't get guys that just identify with sacrificing everything. I mean, they're basically sacrificing everything. And that's just the kind of role that they play. So, like, losing a guy like Brandon Clark would be, it would have its downside. I mean, because you have a guy who's willing to play bully ball, scrap for loose balls, get rebounds, play paint defense. Is not looked at for scoring at all. And you don't get guys like that. And guys who are wanting to say, hey, I will do whatever it takes to stay on this basketball team. That's Brandon Clark for you. So, if you're willing to give that up, that's what it's going to cost, effectively. But is the cost worth it? I think if you go back to the trade itself, okay, you're using some of those first-round picks. And you're basically investing what you got, KCP, Cole Anthony, but you don't have Cole Anthony anymore. He's with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now you're giving up KCP, Desmond Bane. He's with the Magic. That's going to be a long-term thing. So that means for this to actually happen, basically this means that you traded Desmond Bane for just a bunch of picks to just reset. And that's not totally the end of the world, but if that's the direction of where Zach Kleiman's going to go, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised by all that just because RJ Barrett, like I said, I mean, he's younger than KCP. He is a go-getter. He's more of a go-getter type of scorer than KCP is, and we want KCP to be better. Again, I think that I've said it in plenty of other videos, but I know he was around a young Magic team last year where maybe his identity wasn't what it should have been. Maybe it was not something that he was used to, but now he's a bigger fish and a more vocal voice on a team like the Memphis Grizzlies where I really think he can shine once again. But if you're willing to go the route of getting A.J. Barrett and a young Jacoby Walter, who's, again, good for guard depth, then so be it. So a little bit more on Jacoby Walter coming from Baylor. And these are his averages for the 24-25 season. 8.6 points a game, 3.1 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and then 40.5, basically 41% on his field goal percentage. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing with this, but I think that you have to see what KCP is going to do on the court before Zach Kleiman wants to make any type of decision this season. So this is not going to be like any immediate type of thing. Again, the article is just about the best trade assets for every team and what each respective team could get in return. And that is kind of your opinion. I mean, do you think that the Desmond Bane trade could be just worth future assets in trades in the middle of the season like this? And these are RJ Barrett's numbers too. And he's grown to be pretty much better than every year. I mean, he's grown pretty much every year of his career. His New York Knicks days, I think there were I think those were some very good days. But then they decided to go another direction with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, etc. So, you know, I'm sure he was a great individual asset for them, but New York clearly wanted to go in a different direction to help identify, hey, Jalen Brunson, this is our real superstar. This is who we're building off of, and this is who we want to build him off of. So I don't think it wasn't anything against RJ Barrett in New York by the time we got to 2024, but he's a great individual asset that I really think could help down the stretch for a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, who I think is younger and is more of a go-getter type scorer than KCP will be. But that's going to do it for this video. Give us your opinion. Grade that proposal. Let us know in the comments section down below. You can like this video, comment this video, share this video. Jared Alatorre saying thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video, and peace. Have a good one.